and manually sort of rewrite all of these functions with exactly the same instructions, right? The same way to write it, but with a different type. So there are ways around that, but they're not necessarily reasonable in C, but it's actually not that big of a deal in many languages to do that, because it's the same body, right? So it's not that much effort to make your language be able to save you the trouble to do that, but C doesn't do it. So, and then F, N, go to N like that, and let's do it. So you see how that looks. You probably need something to make it easy to compute these, like starting point, step size, and number of points based on other things. For example, if you know it goes from A to B and you need 20 points, how do you do that? So next time we're going to write a function that does this for any number of points. And if you write that function properly, it's not a big leap to adapt it to whatever the application may be. You know, if you need to do a different polynomial depending on where in the array you are, and just do a polynomial with like a smaller degree to make it fit closer to a reasonable function, you can do that. If you want to, instead of making a polynomial that you can evaluate, to make to be given an x value and return f of x directly, say you just want to do this once, you should be able to do that as well. But it's all very similar, because we know how to multiply polynomials, and we know how to multiply by constant. So division by a constant, same as multiplying by 1 over that constant. So if you say this is a polynomial and you write it as a polynomial, you know, minus x1 and then 1 for x, like an array of coefficients, and then if you divide by or multiply by 1 over that constant, and then multiply two polynomials to get this thing, and then you multiply this thing by this constant, and then you add several polynomials like that, right? If you do these operations thinking of x as a polynomial and everything else as constants, you get a polynomial. If you give the value of x and you use these operations as, you know, operations on numbers, then you get a number as the answer. So in the best of worlds, you should just need to write one function and then everything would work. You just need to say, well, I want that function, the polynomial version versus the value version. It should be the same, really. but it's not going to be that because of the way things are set up in C. So we will write probably the function using polynomials, since the other one is it's just simpler. Just replace poly by, you know, this tiny star, which means multiply, and so it's actually easier to get right by, you know, you're sort of removing information. You just say, yeah, that's not necessarily multiplying two polynomials or one constant in a polynomial. It's just multiplication. It's going to work. So we're going to do the polynomial version, I guess. And I'll try to talk a little bit less. But so when we deal with actual problems, it'll be good to talk a little bit less. But for this, I think it's also good to see where these things are coming from and just see the reasoning that you can have if you don't remember these things, you know. Because once you've seen them and you think about it for a while, you can always figure it out again, and that might give you new ideas. And that's it. Thank you. If you have questions, just you can write me at this email address. If you have comments or suggestions, you can write me at this email address when the videos are up on YouTube. And now I've figured out that there is a time limit that's pretty, I think it's 2 weeks. I thought it was 60 weeks, 60 days, but it's like 2 weeks. And after that, the videos are just deleted and last forever. So there's a part of this sort of series that's last forever. But you know, at the beginning, I'm still figuring out how to do this, so it's not too much of a waste. And because now I know the amount of time it takes before things get deleted, it might be 3 weeks, something like that. I'm going to upload them on YouTube before they get deleted, and then on YouTube you can write comments, right? Yeah, that's everything I wanted to say. Good time till next time, and if you have anything you'd like to talk about related to doing science with a computer, I'd be happy to reply to your email.